Welcome to the Elite Life with Trisha and Kylie. This is where we'll teach you how to develop grit, give yourself grace, and succeed in real estate. So let's dive in.
Oh, welcome back, friends. Today we have kind of a little bit of a challenge. So heads up, super unscripted. Usually we have a loose script of talking points, but Trisha, she assigned me to write a podcast, and I was like, we'll just do an unscripted Q A. So,
Thanks.
so just know that she has not had time to prepare, but we're going to go through some things that have been kind of rolling around in my mind. We've already touched this month on the economy, how to maintain and grow in a recession. And so if you haven't heard that episode, go back and listen to it. It's called What the Shift. And we really dive into how a lot of big names, even your brokerage has proven you can grow and come out of a recession stronger. We talk about what a recession is, how it affects everything, blah, 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 blah. Go back and listen. Now, in that episode, we talked about now is the time. Now is a really great time to get started because you have less competition. You have lower costs for like overhead and things like that. And it's really a great time to jump into whatever it is that you've been thinking about, that your heart's been after. So question number one, Trish, is business is business. So we're in the real estate business, but regardless of what services, products, things that you are bringing to your clientele, there are keys of business that maintain and are foundational. So if you could come up with maybe 5 tips or walk us through setting up a business, getting a business started, and maybe disprove some misconceptions, because I think one of them is, I have to have all this space and all these people and all of this overhead. We live in a time where people are literally getting rich off of making videos on YouTube. So that is question number one. What are some tips and tricks that you could give to those who listen to What the Shift and they are ready to take the next step and dive in?
Okay. So anytime you are thinking about starting a business, I would say the first thing you want to do is write out what you want that vision, like what is your vision of what does this business look like and what problem is my business solving? Because any successful business solves a problem. You got to solve a problem in the world to have a successful business. So what is the problem that I'm solving? What does my ideal customer or consumer look like? So you know who you're going out to service. And what does my vision look like for what this company setup is? So for example, you mentioned like people working from home. Well, if you're working from home, your budget looks a lot differently than if you are setting up a real estate brick and mortar office. Mm-hmm. So let's kind of talk about and unpack if you're setting up a brick and mortar business. If you write out your vision and your vision includes a brick and mortar space, then you start with what are the dollars and cents that I need to have? What does the budget look like? The smallest budget possible to get this thing started and off the ground, right? So, and you got to really think about the small details because so many realtors are like, I'm just going to go start a brokerage. And I'm like, okay, take the word broker and take the R off, and that's what you're going to be. You're going to be broke. Okay? Because there are so many costs that people don't think about that go into having a brick and mortar business. So you have your rent, you have your utilities, you have your labor, you have your desks, your computers. You have to have somebody to clean the space. You have to have phones. You have to have internet. who is running your phones, who is running your internet, who is setting all that up. And then down to like, okay, do you need one of our offices? We had been there for 3 months and all of a sudden they said, you need to have your own dumpster. Well, having a dumpster is expensive. And then you have to have someone come pick up that trash. And then you have to buy plastic spoons and knives for your workers. And are you providing drinks to your clients? Oh, guess what? Last week, our mini fridge broke in the conference room.
Oh, I remember that. I came in and I was like, what happened?
Yeah. So I had to go buy a new mini fridge. Like all of these little details of paper, copiers, running IT, like you need to really sit down, research what does it take to have an office, and then like do some homework, like go talk to success leaves clues, right? So go talk to a successful, like if you wanted to open a supplements business, go talk to somebody who's running a GNC, like, hey, can I take you out to coffee? Can I buy you lunch? What is working for you? I try all the time to get with other real estate brokers or other successful team leads and be like, what is really working for you? And I've had so many calls, and you know what, if you're a team lead or you're a broker out there and you're like, Trish, how did you recruit over 100 agents in less than 5 years? How did that happen? Like, I'll sit down with you and teach you and tell you about it and help you to understand what goes into that, because you really need to know all the costs and what it's going to take to carry that business through. And you need to be prepared. Like when we opened our newest office, I had to buy a sign. I didn't know anything about signage. Like, oh, okay, do you want a backlit sign? How big do you want your sign? How big are signs allowed to be in the city? Like, do you want it to light up or not light up? And when I'm doing this, I'm thinking like, who gives a crap about a sign? But we've literally had realtors go, I drove by and I seen the sign and I came in, or sellers be like, I seen the sign and I said, that's the universe telling me I'm ready to sell my house. Something as simple as a sign
Can make or break it.
It's so crazy.
Sorry about that. So, I wanted to add something that I think is poignant. When you are having your vision, I feel like there's a difference between the starting point and your super end goal, right? So the office space that you have now was not the first office space that you started in.
No.
So if you are looking at the numbers and you're like, oh, holy shit, I don't know how I'm going to get all this together. I just don't know. Yeah. You could say, okay, where can I compromise, right? Yeah. So you could get, I know they're called like Americenters. There's
shared space.
Yeah, shared space. There are little office buildings where they'll rent you an office. They'll rent you the copier machine. They'll rent you the conference room, and they already have someone taking care of the phones. And so don't leave that option off the table. Don't feel like you can't start just because you don't have everything exactly the way you want it.
Yeah, perfect point. And we actually started just like that. So when I became a broker, the first space I had was shared space on Grand River in Novi. So we had 2 office rooms inside a big office space where you could go in and use the conference room. And we had a girl that answered the phones and she came out and would get us from our office, but it was shared space. After that shared space, we moved into a little bit bigger shared space where we did have our own receptionist, but we were still in with other offices. Mm-hmm. And then after that, our next space was small. It was Office Schoolcraft. It had 4 solo offices, 1 conference room, and a receptionist space. And then after that, I had closed down that office for a little while and joined a broker who was very tech savvy and had a lot of business. And I just spent some time learning because I knew the next level we were going to go to, I would need to learn a lot.
Yeah.
Because I knew I wanted to have my own office. So exactly what you said, I was like, let me make this happen, take action. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just have to get started. So I got my broker's license. I got in that shared space. I started doing deals. I started building clients, but I did hit this space where I was like, I need to go and learn from somebody that has already done this and done it on a bigger scale. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad, it ended up being a bad situation, but I'm glad that I could set my ego aside a little bit for a while so that I learned so much from that experience. And even though that boss was, he was a boss in the fact that like we were both brokers, so we were on the same level, but like I took my smaller office and went into his bigger office. And he was awful and horrible. But what it taught me was all the things not to do, right? It taught me what I didn't like when I was working with somebody else. So I knew when I reopened my brokerage with more agents on a bigger scale, with better technology and more, I knew what not to do. Mm-hmm. I knew what mistakes not to make, because and that's something that's really important, is even when you fail, even if you have a bad business partner, even if like everything goes to crap, it's still a learning experience, and you learn what not to do. You learn what you don't like from other bosses or partners, and you learn what mistakes not to make again. And I learned every time, like I've had, I think when I went through it, it was like 8 different bosses in the real estate industry that I worked for.
Yeah.
And every single one of them were awful, toxic bosses that taught me how to be a better leader. I knew what it felt like to be on the receiving end of getting your life cussed out and getting screamed at, or having a boss that didn't take care of their employees, or having a boss that didn't take care of their books and their finances. Ooh. Like one of the first guys I worked for, he'd cut us checks and we had to run across the street to the Kroger Best Bank and see who's would cash, because they didn't all cash.
Oh shit.
So it's like I really learned like what's important. Like keeping good, strong books is important. Making sure your employees get paid on time is important. Treating every one of your agents like $1,000,000 is important. Empowering them to run their own business while still coaching them and giving them the support that they need is important. And I found out what so many real estate offices lacked, and that helped me to build an office that is supportive of all agents and teaches them and helps them grow and is people focused and client focused instead of ego broker focused, which a lot of real estate offices are. So when you're going in to build a business, spend some days in other offices. Like this is a great one for realtors too. Like if you're a realtor and you're thinking about switching to another office, go spend 2 days in that other office. See if they really do what they say they're going to do, because lots of people will promise the moon, the sun, and the stars and not deliver. Or lots of people look like if you're going to open a new business and you're an entrepreneur, go spend a day with somebody doing that business, because it might look great on Instagram, but then you get in the office and you see how stressed they are and how awful it is and how they're running it on a shoestring budget, and it is nothing like what it looks like on Instagram. And that may stop you before it even starts. So make a vision, build out a strategy, build out a budget, go spend some time with people that do that, with leaders that do that, with workers that do that. Take a lot of notes and then start putting a plan together with deadlines. You have to have deadlines, Kylie. Every office
What
I
do you
open,
say, Kylie? Like, I don't know.
I'm talking to you and looking at you.
I'm teasing you.
People in the world, you have to have deadlines, because if you don't have a deadline, you'll never execute. Like think about when you're going on vacation. You know that tomorrow you want to be on vacation and have everything done. So you are taking massive action. You are getting massive amounts of things done. You are excited. You're going. The same with if you're going to build a business. Like you could take 17 years building a business, or like the first Elite Realty office we opened it in 3 weeks.
Nice.
3 weeks. Looked at office space, found office space, opened office space, filled the office space, got everything done, got everything set up, was going with business. 3 weeks. So it doesn't have to take a long time. Put some pressure on your plate and make yourself execute.
Nice. And I think another thing that would be super helpful too is making sure that you have a team, someone who can hold you accountable to those deadlines. So I just want to throw that in there because you talked for a lot of time and I didn't. So Question number 2, I wanted to know if you could share the 3 things, doesn't have to be business, can be personal, 3 things that you can literally not live without. So desert island question, what 3 things are you taking to the desert island?
Food.
Okay. That's a given. We all need food. Friggin' A.
Things that I cannot live
You can't take
without.
Dave either.
Can I take Trent?
No, he doesn't
What about
count.
my dog?
No, it doesn't count.
Okay. So I would say, number one thing that I really need in my life, and I find myself really grumpy when I don't do it, is exercise. So I'm not taking that to the desert island, but it's something that for my stress level, my mental health, my happiness, like if I don't work out in the day or if I leave it for nighttime, I can feel my stress. Like so many people are like, oh, I don't have enough energy to work out. What they need to remember is working out and exercise gives you energy.
Oh, yeah. What
It
I
gives
just
you
told you. I
energy.
just told you like 15 minutes ago. I woke up and I was groggy because we went to bed late because I did all those offers last night. I was groggy. I slept like garbage because I share a queen size bed with a giant man and a stupid dumb dog and sometimes a baby who is very sweet. So I woke up. I was tired. I was groggy. I was sore because I didn't work out yesterday. So I had a rest day yesterday and I was crunched for time because I told you my alarm didn't go off. So I was like, I had to make the decision. I was like, I'm going to work out. I have to work out. I'm going to be, and when I was done, I had energy. I had the energy and the mental clarity to get everything together and be like, and be out of the house. It was amazing.
Yeah.
All right.
And it gives you something where it's an instant success, right? Like yesterday I ran 9 miles and I'm like, if I do nothing else today, like I ran 9 miles.
Hell
today.
yeah, friggin'
Like,
9 miles.
Yeah, I was like, I slayed it.
I feel like you could hang up the towel after that and just be like, I'm done today. I'm just going to sit here. I'm all done.
Yeah, so even on my recovery days, and especially, so this is what's funny, especially when I don't feel like it, I make myself do something. Like when the day we were leaving from Boston, I went down to the gym. It was my rest day. I went down to the gym and I got on the bike because even if I'm on the bike and I'm on my phone, I feel accomplished that I got a workout in, I got sweaty, I burned some calories, and it makes my brain release happy chemicals and serotonin. So I'm happy, right? So I need to have movement in my life. It makes my life better. It makes me just everything better.
Well, as the wise philosopher Elle Wood said, exercise releases endorphins. Endorphins make you happy, and happy people don't kill their husbands. They just don't.
That's important. That's important.
All right, so that's number 1. Number 2, can't live without.
Oh gosh. I hate to say this, but it is my phone. Because not just because of social media, but my phone is so many things for me. Like my Google Calendar, it keeps my life together. It keeps me in order. So my Google Calendar is really something I can't live
I was
without.
waiting for that
and
to
we
come
know
out.
that. Like the Google Calendar is everything to me. It keeps me.
You're going to be sitting on the desert island with no service, just still putting shit into that Google Calendar.
I gotta go get
Okay,
coconuts.
I got to go look for coconuts. We're going to build a shelter. Then we got to go get some fish.
It does. It keeps me organized. My Google Calendar keeps me organized. I know what's happening in my kids' lives. My Life 360, I can track and stalk my kid and know like how fast he's driving in his car and where he's at. Social media I use for all my marketing, branding, keeping my family together, your email, your phones, and then like my Audibles and my podcasts. I love listening to Audibles and podcasts and having something in my ears at all times. Like I even have gotten to where like I will turn the timer on and as I'm falling asleep be listening to either my Audible or a podcast. Like it's just like I'm no empty time, you know, like it just helps me. It keeps my mind out of dark places too. So like I know that if I am feeling in a bad mood or in a dark place because a lot of like crap is going on in life, like I'll put on a good sermon or I'll put on a good message or I'll put on a good podcast. Like I know I have some certain podcasts that I actually listen to our podcasts all the time. So which is funny. But so my phone definitely, just because it serves so many purposes for me, and that Google Calendar is just like number one for sure. So exercise, my phone. What would be the third thing if it can't be food? I don't know. What would your third thing be? What would your thing be?
Oh, my third thing. I mean, I would definitely take one or a handful of books. So if you're going to the desert island, what books are you taking?
Ooh,
Ooh, yeah.
So people always ask, like, what's your number one book that you would suggest for everybody? And for me, it's A Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. That book like changed my life.
A Year of Yes.
A Year of Yes. It's the writer of Grey's Anatomy and Scandal, and she writes about her life, and she, she's so rich and so successful, and she owns Thursday Nights with Shonda and Shondaland and all of these things. But she talks about, and I don't want to give all the spoilers, but she talks about like how she has all these things and she gets invited everywhere, and all she was ever doing was saying no. And being an introvert, like at my core, I get my energy from being alone and being solitary. A lot of times I'll want to say yes to things, but I won't, because I think that inside my brain trying to keep me safe will be like, yeah, you want to see people, but you don't want to like go out to that party. You know what I mean? So
you also don't want the party to come to you.
Yeah. And I don't want the party to come to me. So I really have to push myself to say yes. But every time I do, you got to show up to win. You have to show up to win. I say it over and over again. So I have to say yes. So I just have, like, after I listen to that book, I just immediately say yes to everything. Like, people will call me and be like, do you want to do this speaking gig? You can think about it. I'm like, yes. No, I'm not thinking about it. Just yes. Because if I think about it and I negotiate with myself, I'm going to say no. So A Year of Yes is my ultimate book, 100%. Ed Milet's Max Out. I love that book.
Ooh, is that the new one?
The Power of One More is the new one, and I have that book for you here.
Yeah.
I have 5 copies of The Power of One More. That's his newest one, but Max Out is his original book. It's a quick read, but it is just so good and so impactful. Why can I not think of the book right now? Tim Grover's book, and I have 75 copies, and I used to give it to agents, and I can't think of the name of it right now. And I can't even believe it right now. But anyways, his book is really good. It's
this guy wrote a book. It's real good, y'all.
Tim Grover's book. He's the coach for Michael Jordan, and he has an amazing book, and I don't know why I can't think of the name of it right now.
It's called Coaching Michael Jordan.
Right.
My Awesome Life.
I keep wanting to call it Limitless, but that is not the name of it. And I have it upstairs, so that is so funny. Everything is Figure Outable, Marie Forleo.
That's a good one.
So good, and such a good thing to live by. It's going to teach
you how to figure out, building a shelter and, how to hunt animals with bamboo spears while you're on the island.
Well, just mindset, right? Like, getting in the mindset of everything is figure outable is a game changer. It's a life changer. Like, it
changed my life.
Yeah.
Remember, you were like, I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm really feeling secure with what I have, and I really friggin' hate it. And you're like, oh my God, you should totally read this book. And so I read it, and I was like, we're going to change our lives. And Ryan was like, I don't know if that's a good idea right now. And I'm like, we're going to do this. We're doing this. So if you haven't read that book, we talked about it before. It's an absolute amazing read. And she does talk a lot about mindset, but she also talks about the psychology of fear. She talks about action and all of the things that you need to do. So I'm definitely down with that. So stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break to get a word from our sponsors. And when we come back, we're going to have the last and final Q&A of Unscripted with Trish.
Do you know more than 80% of real estate agents fail and quit in their first year of business? MyStarsAcademy.com has set out to solve this problem by providing a convenient, expert-based training and coaching program for both agents and brokers. The Agent Accelerator program teaches agents everything they need to know to level up their business, have a constant flow of free leads, convert those leads into clients, and take those clients to the closing table and keep them coming back for more as repeat business. Our industry experts have years of proven success in the business and are here to share that gold through one-on-one coaching. This will help you achieve more structure and work-life balance. We will map you a plan you can follow, which will guide you through the steps to scale and grow in both your business and personal life. Don't be a statistic. Visit MyStarsAcademy.com and enroll today so you can get the success you deserve.
What's up, fam? Welcome back to Elite Life. Thanks for joining us here. I feel like I'm screaming. It's my Puerto Rican showing. So we have Unscripted Q&A with Trish today because I didn't write a script. So I was like, this one's easy.
It's making my brain work really hard. I also remember the book, Tim Grover, Relentless.
You didn't remember that shit. Producer
Actually,
Dave did.
Producer Dave told
Give credit where credit's due, woman. All right, so.
Well, when he said it, I remembered it.
Because he said it. You see how?
It's an amazing book. Relentless is an amazing book. I highly suggest it.
I feel like sometimes you just have to be relentless.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. It's about just like going all in, man, just getting gritty with it. And I think that when you read those books, the Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, that's another one that's an all-time fave. Like, grab these books. If you guys have never read personal development, like, start with those. Compound Effect, Relentless, Everything is Figure Outable, Max Out, A Year of Yes. Like, those books will change your life. They changed our lives.
I will tell you, I used to not read personal development because for so long it was like self-help. And it's like, it's not self-help. You're going to someone who's already done it, who therefore is an expert, who is super successful, and you're learning how to do it. So it's not it's not help. It's learning. It's not help. It's education.
Well, and for me, I had never heard personal development. I just didn't even know what it was.
No, me either.
And a lot of people are like, well, I don't like to read. That's totally cool. Get the Audible, right? Go on Amazon.com, get yourself a subscription to Audible and listen to it and make sure you take some notes. Like, it's just, you got to do it. It's just such a game changer. It's such a life changer.
Well, and it comes down to implementation, right? Because you can read all the books and you can go to all the events and you can listen to all the podcasts and all the preaching that you want. Yeah. If you're not implementing it, you're not getting anywhere.
Yeah. Success leaves clues and you have to take action for sure. All right. Last question.
Last question is, if you could be any animal, you didn't see this one coming, did you?
No.
If you could be any animal, real or fictional, what would you be?
I'd be my dog Billy because she has an amazing life.
I'm thinking you're going to be like, I'm going to be a Pegasus Griffith because I have the spirit of a lion and the wings of an eagle and the talons and...
Well, first of all, we know that I am data and science and math driven. So my imagination piece of the brain is not as large as probably yours is.
Oh, I see how that is.
You guys have all the imagination. That was a compliment. You have all the imagination. I am very checklists and but Billy's like being a Frenchie dog. Like, first of all, being a French chin dog, like, everybody loves you. Everybody says you're cute all the time. She gets to sleep in a comfy bed and push me off the bed. She gets fed amazing food. She travels everywhere with us, everywhere. We just give her all she has to do is sit pretty, and we just give her snacks all day. And she's just living the life.
She has someone picking up her shit.
Yeah, people pick up her poop, and she is small, so she fits anywhere. She doesn't have to worry about fitting into some jeans or anything. Doesn't wear clothes,
I mean, when you put it together like that,
it's nice. She sleeps all day, gets belly rubs whenever she wants.
See, I'm over here I would totally be a yellow glitter covered unicorn with a magical horn, sparkly wings, and lion claws. And you're like, what kind of life are you living there?
Yeah.
You're probably constantly hunted for your magical powers and your horn. You're feared because you're scary looking.
You can't go out in public because you'll be chased by the paparazzi.
You don't fit in anything because nothing's going to fit your tail, your wings, and your paws.
Right.
Ah, damn.
Are we being realistic here? What do you eat? What's your food?
Magic.
Okay.
Manna.
Right. Living on magic. Manna, I hear, is disgusting. It's like unleavened bread.
It's not unleavened bread.
It's like the communion. All right, this pot.
I picture it more as like kind of thick slime.
Okay. All right, producer Dave, what's your question? You get to enter a question.
His question is, how the hell do I put up with it?
All right, let's leave everybody with one piece of value to end out this.
Oh, we have to bring something to the table now. Look at you guys.
What do we want to end with value?
End with value. Dream big.
Dream big.
If you want to be a unicorn with lion claws and wings and talons, you do that.
Truth. There's always time to do anything in the world you want to do.
I feel like we have a lot of limiting beliefs right now, especially with all the fear mongering that's going on from the television and the mainstream media and the neighbors. And there's a lot of negativity going on in the world. So just like be the light, people. Be the freaking light. Like, yeah.
Yeah, this is a great quote. You are not a tree. If you don't like where you are, then move.
Oh, I like that.
Right?
I like that.
That's what we got this week, folks. Join us next week for an actual scripted podcast because I'll write it.
We're not letting slacker Kylie. I'm not a hippie. I'm a slacker.
I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. You got a good laugh. Maybe you learned something. Heck, we gave you a great list of books. Start there. If you need some value, grab the books, grab the quote, tattoo it on your wrist, whatever you like. Hit the subscribe button, share this podcast with a friend, or maybe one of our actual scripted ones.
This was a good one.
It was. All right. We love you guys. Thanks so much for joining us.
Bye.
We thank you so much for joining us today on the Elite Live with Trish and Kylie. Be sure to share the episode with a friend so we can continue bringing you more great tips on grit, grace, and real estate. You can also connect with us on Instagram, Facebook. We hope the ideas we share continue to help you build an empire and leave a legacy.